guys, you're welcome back to the channel today. My name is Lady Peace. I'm the content creator of this sewing family. So today's video is all about these sleeves here. I'll be sharing with you guys how to draft a basic short sleeve and a long sleeve as well, as you can see already on the video. So do well to hit on the subscribe button so that you become a member of this sewing family. And if you've done that, thank you for stopping by. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you, and I love you guys so much. So let's get into today's video. Guys, these are the materials I'll be making use of. As you can see already on my table, I have my pattern paper here with me. I also have this marker pen here which I'll be making use of. I have my tape here with me. I also have my pencil, my ruler, and then I also have my curved rule here with me. So I'll just go ahead and keep these two aside for now. The next thing I'll be doing, guys, is to take my ruler this way to this point up here. I'm going to draw up a starting line here. So I'll draw this line just like this. This is where I'm going to be taking all my measurements from. So after drawing this line, now the next thing I will do is I'm going to place my tape here. But before then, remember this pattern paper is on fold. Yes, this is necessary. So if you are cutting directly on your fabric, do well to fold it before cutting it out. So on this point here, I'm going to come down by 4.5 inch. This is, you can decide to come down by 5 inch if you wish to. Okay, it's still very okay, but 4.5 inch works perfectly. So I'll just go ahead and connect a straight curve here like this. I'll just connect this into a straight line. So this is the height of my sleeve cap. Okay, so it's also known as the biceps line. So from here, I'm going to come down by how long I want this sleeve to be. So this is something I'm making for my clients. It's not for me. So she wanted her sleeve to stop at 12 inches point, just like this. And this is also left for you. You can decide to make yours 8 inches. You can decide to make it 10 inches. So go ahead and do whichever way you want. But for this tutorial, is 12 inches. So after connecting this line, as you can see, the next thing, guys, that I'm going to do is from the top here, from that starting line here, I'm going to be going in by 4 inch. Yes, I will just come in here by 4 inch, just like this. So now we have the starting line, the biceps line, and the sleeve length. So guys, now the next thing to do is I'll come down to the biceps line here. The measurement around your biceps, go ahead and divide it by 2. So for this tutorial, my client's round measurement is 11 inches, and that divided by 2 is 5.5 inch. So I went ahead to mark it here. So from this point here, I'm going to place my tape like this and measure what I have in between these points here. So I had 4.5 inch. So I'll just go ahead and fold this tape like this, and then I'll make a point here. So note, guys, please notice where I'm going to be curving my ruler, not from this point like this, not this point like this. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So at this point, I realized I was supposed to add stitching allowance to this, so I added about 1.5 inch for that. So I'm going to be curving this from this other point here. So I'll just go ahead and use my curved rule and curve it for you guys to see. Can you see how I'm placing my curved row? This is how you should place yours. This other part is supposed to face up like this, so I'll just use this marker pen and draw it this way. Can you see? So after this, I'm going to now turn this curve to this other side like this, and also connect from this point here to meet this other point. So you see how nice this is looking. So I will just go ahead and align these edges here where they both met. So this is it, and this is how yours should look like. Now for the round sleeve, the round arm measurement, my client had 10 inches. So 10 inches, half of 10 inches is 5. So I'll place this tape like this and mark 5 inches. Sorry, I'll mark 5 inches, and I'll also add 1.5 inch for stitching allowance. So I'll mark it here, and then I will use my straight ruler to connect these points together like this. So guys, this is it. We are done drafting the short sleeve. What I'm going to do next is I'll just use my marker to align this part here so that you know exactly where we are cutting out. I'll just make this bold. So this is it. I'll just go ahead and cut it out. Guys, before cutting this out, let me go ahead and measure this part to be sure of what I have here. So my client's round arm is 15 inches, and that divided by 2 is 7.5. So at this point here, this is where my 7 is, and this is 2. So as you can see, if you remove half inch from this 2 and add to that 7, you see that we have 1.5 inch for our stitching allowance. So I'll just go ahead and cut it out. Now this is what the short sleeve pattern looks like. You can see how nicely this came out. So now you see this curve area here. So let's go ahead and draft the long basic sleeves. So guys, this is another pattern paper here. I also went ahead to draw up a starting line up here, just like we did for the front. And this paper is also on fold, and like I said, it's very necessary. So like when you are drafting on your fabric, please make sure to fold it. So just like we did for the short sleeve, I'm coming in by 4 inch here. So after making that point, from this point here, I'm going to come down by 4.5 inch. That is the height of my sleeve cap. So this line is also known as the biceps line. So I will just use my ruler and connect this into a straight line. Because this is a long sleeve, from this point I'm coming down to my client's elbow measurement. So her elbow here is 12 inches. So I will just make points here and connect this into a straight line. After connecting that, still placing my tape from the starting line here, I'm going to measure the length of her sleeve. So her sleeve length is 22 inches. So I'll just mark 22 inches here and then connect it. After connecting it, I'm coming down to my biceps line here. I will divide the measurement around my client's biceps. So it was 11, and that divided by 2 is 5. So I'm adding 1.5 inch for the stitching allowance. This is just me repeating myself So like we did for the short sleeve, I'm coming down to this point and I will divide what I have here by 2. I'll just fold my tape to this part like this, and then I will make a point here. So after making these points, the next thing I'm going to use my curved rule and connect these points from here like this to this other side here. So in case you didn't understand how we did this part for the short sleeve, please go ahead and pay attention to this other part here. On the elbow line here, the measurement around my client's elbow is 9 inches and half of it is 4.5. So I'm going to mark 4.5 and then add extra 1.5 inch for stitching allowance, just like this. So I'll make a point here and then add another 1.5 inch here. So after this, I'll use my ruler and connect these points. Now for the round sleeve, a round sleeve is 7 inches and half of it is 3.5 inch. So I'll mark 3.5 inch and also add 1.5 inch for stitching allowance. Then I'll just go ahead and also connect this point here. So guys, this is all about drafting the basic long sleeve, just like this. Just go ahead and use your measurement. So after connecting all these points, I'll just go ahead and then cut this out. Go ahead and make sure that you take the measurement around this point here. Like I said, my client's measurement is 15 inches and that divided by 2 is 7.5. So I'll measure to where I have 7.5 and extra allowance for the stitching. So this is where I had it, and this other point here is the 1.5 inch we give as stitching allowance. So after this, I will just go ahead and cut it out. I'm done cutting this out and this is how it looks. So we have the short sleeve and also the long sleeve here. You can see if you drafted this nicely, it will actually come out this beautiful. So you see this up here, you see how the curve really came out nicely. So if I open this up too, you see how beautiful it is. So yours should look like this. Okay, so guys, if you watch this far, thank you so much for stopping by. Please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. On this channel, I share more on sewing tutorials, everything related to sewing. So thank you, and I will see you guys in my next one.